Hi! Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Of course, it's your girl, Erin, and I hope you guys are all doing really well today because as you guys can probably already tell by the title of today's video, I'm going to be adding onto another home decor series. So welcome to home decor episode 3. Today we're finally going to be diving into making pillows for your household. You guys know I've been talking about making pillows here on my channel for several weeks, so I'm really excited to dive into all the materials and everything that you'll need to get started on this project. But before I dive into this tutorial, I just want to give a big shout out and say thank you so much to Ana Luisa Jewelry for sponsoring another video here on my channel. I freaking love the jewelry, you guys. Thank you so much for sending me these items. And if you've been a longtime viewer here on my channel, then you guys know I've been hugely sponsored by Ana Luisa several times in the past, and to this day I remain a huge loyal fan of all of their jewelry pieces. Ana Luisa is a sustainable jewelry company that uses recycled metals wherever possible throughout their entire production process. And all of the metals that they use are always nickel-free and hypoallergenic, so their pieces will never rust. Guys, when I tell you, I literally wear all of these pieces in the shower every single day for like the last 6 months. They have seriously stood the test of time. They have never rusted on me, and they've honestly remained in the exact same condition that I received them. So here I'm wearing the low medium hoop earrings in 14 karat gold on silver. This gorgeous necklace is called the Ina, and this is also made with 14 karat gold on stainless steel. And as you guys can see, I was also able to stack this Ina necklace on top of other necklaces that they've gave me in the past. And then next up here for rings, because you guys know I always wear my rings. This first one is called the Wiley, and this is 14 karat gold on brass. And then next up, probably my favorite piece out of everything they sent me is called the Nicola, which is 14 karat gold on recycled sterling silver. And just look how well these two pieces go well with each other. And best of all with Ana Luisa is that their gemstones are always transparently sourced, and they are 100% carbon neutral, starting with their recycled metals all the way to their 100% recyclable and reusable packaging. So always know that whenever you order from Ana Luisa, that everything that you receive in the mail is always 100% recyclable. And of course, the little pouches that the jewelry comes in are reusable. And of course, like always, if you guys are interested in checking out Ana Luisa's jewelry, then make sure that you guys click my link down below in the description, and you will receive an extra 20% off your order and save some extra coin today on some gorgeous jewelry pieces. All right, so now we can go ahead and jump into today's pillow tutorial. So to go ahead and get started, the materials that I'm going to be using to make this super cute, quick and easy pillow. First of all, I do need a pillow insert. So this is actually just a 12-inch by 12-inch pillow insert that I got off of Amazon. And in case you guys are like me and you don't really have any pillow inserts laying around at your home, I will be leaving a link for this item down in the description. Like I said, I did get it off of Amazon. And then other than this, the yarn that I'm going to be using for today's video, I actually found some skeins in my closet. So I'm just going to be using some old leftover stash yarn. And I'm not really too sure the brand of this company, but this looks to be like a number 5 chunky yarn. I'm gonna assume that each of these skeins is probably like 100 or maybe 120 yards. So just to be safe, I will be using 2 skeins that were just kind of left over. If you guys are gonna be using this for an actual pillow, you want it to be really soft and comfortable and snuggly on your skin. So this one, yeah, it passes the snuggle test. So I'm gonna go ahead and use up this yarn. And then other than this yarn, I believe I'm going to be going with a 10mm crochet hook. Like I said, because this is a number 5 chunky yarn, I do need to level up with my crochet hook. And then other than that, the last few materials that I will be using for this tutorial are completely optional, but because I want to kind of step up my level and quality of my production, I'm actually choosing to use a zipper for this tutorial. If you guys would like, you don't have to use a zipper. That way, in case my pillow cover gets a little bit dirty and I need to wash it, I can very easily just unzip the bad boy, take it off, throw it in the washer and the dryer, and then slip it back onto the pillow cover and, you know, zip it shut. So I will be using a 7-inch zipper at the very end of this tutorial. And of course I will need some yarn. Nope, I'll actually be using a needle and thread at the very end to sew the zipper onto the cover. So that is it for the materials that I'll be using for this tutorial. And that's enough rambling. Let's just go ahead, get into the DIY. And I hope that you guys like this home decor series. And before I jump into the video, please make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel, join the It's Erin B family, and also don't forget to go follow my Instagram page because I post awesome freaking content on there. So let's go ahead and jump into the pillow tutorial. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Bye. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on making this pattern. So like I said, I have my number 5 or number 6 chunky, bulky yarn, and this is what she looks like nice and up close. And again, I will be using a 10mm crochet hook. I planned on using my floral resin set, and then everything sold out on my website. So I have to resort back to using an aluminum hook here. But for the moment, I'm just gonna go ahead, take my yarn, and of course, I'm gonna start off with a standard slip knot. So I'm just going to bring my yarn through like this and tighten up the yarn onto my hook. And one thing that I wanted to quickly note before we get started is because our pillow is 12 inches by 12 inches, we need to make our pillowcase cover slightly smaller than the actual pillow. That way there's still a lot of volume and bulk within the pillow. So I'm actually going to be making my chain to about 11.5 inches long to 11.75 inches long. So I'm going to start off with a chain of 25. And here is my 25th chain. So this is what my chain of 25 is looking like. And again, because I'm going to be working with a single crochet, I want to chain an extra 1 at the very start of our row. So now we can go ahead and get started on row 1. So I've already chained my 1 for the very start of my row, and into the second stitch in the row, I'm going to insert my hook and work a regular single crochet. So I'm bringing up that loop and then pulling through 2. So here is my first single crochet in the row. And now for the rest of the 24 stitches, I want to work a herringbone stitch. But the trick with the herringbone stitch is that we need to insert our hook into the left leg of our single crochet. So as you guys can see, right here is the right leg and here is the left leg. So to start off for the next stitch in the row, again, I'm going to insert my hook into that left leg and pick it up onto my crochet hook. And now from here, I can go ahead and pick up the next chain in my row, which is right here. And now we're just gonna act like we're working a regular single crochet. So I'm gonna bring up a loop and I'm gonna go ahead and pull up on my work just a little bit so that it's not too tight, because I've learned that with this stitch, you do need a little bit of breathing room. So I'm gonna pull up on my yarn over, and I'm gonna pull through all 3. So there is the first herringbone stitch. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to the next stitch in the row. And again, I want to pick up this left leg of that single crochet, which is right here. So again, I'm going to insert my hook into that left leg and put it onto my hook. And now I can go ahead and find the next chain space in my row, which is right here. Insert your hook and pull up a loop. So now you should have 3 loops sitting on your hook. And now from here, I can yarn over and pull through all 3. So we're pretty much just working regular single crochets. All we're doing is picking up the left leg at the very start of our stitch and finishing out like normal. So again, I'm going to go ahead and work down my line, but just continue to pick up the left leg at the start of your stitch, place it onto your hook, pull up a little bit on your work to give you some breathing room, insert into the next chain space, and pull up a loop. And now you should have 3 loops on your hook. Again, pull up a little bit, give you a little bit of wiggle room, yarn over, and pull through all 3. So this is what that stitch is looking like so far. And once we work up a few more rows, you guys are really going to see the really cute like chevron fishtail stitch that I have going on. So I'm just going to continue to carry on down my row, picking up the left leg, and I'll meet you back at the end of row 1. So this is what row 1 is looking like so far, and as you guys can tell, they're pretty much basic single crochets, but because we're picking up the left leg at the start of our stitch, we're kind of dragging the stitch and slanting it sideways, which kind of gives us this crooked single crochet. And again, once we work up a few more rows, you're going to see a really awesome chevron stitch. So here at the end of row 1, always chain 1 and turn your work. And now for row 2, again, we're going to carry on with the same pattern of the herringbone stitch, except for the entirety of row 2, we're actually going to be working through the back side of our work. So here at the start of our row, we're always going to start off with a regular single crochet, but I need to insert my hook from the back side of my work into the front. So here for that very first stitch in the row, I'm going to turn my work, and here is that first stitch in the row. I'm going to pick it up from the back to the front. So now we have that first stitch on there, and I'm going to go ahead, wrap my yarn around the hook and pull up a loop. So this is your regular single crochet. I'm going to pull up on my work just a little bit again to give me some room, yarn over, and pull through that first single crochet. So now we have a backwards single crochet made right there. And now again, for the next 24 stitches, I'm going to be working with that herringbone stitch again, but I need to turn my work ever so slightly so that I can see the back side of my work. So again, for that herringbone stitch, I'm going to be picking up the left leg of the single crochet and then inserting my hook from the back side to the front of my work. So again, I'm going to turn my work over here so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. But if you guys can tell, I have the right leg of the stitch right here, and here is my left leg that's facing me. So I'm just going to go ahead and walk you guys through this backwards herringbone stitch. So again, I'm going to bring my yarn towards me to the front of my work and turn my work around. So now you guys can see that left leg. I'm going to go ahead, insert my hook into the left leg of the stitch like so. And now I can go ahead and find the next stitch at the very top of my work, which is right here. And we're going to go ahead and pick up that stitch from the back to the front. And of course, you're grabbing both of those top loops. So now our hook is inserted into the back side of our work. I'm going to go ahead, yarn over, and I'm going to pull up a loop. And again, pull up on your work, give yourself a little bit of wiggle room. And again, now that we have 3 stitches on our hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. So that is the second stitch in the row. Again, I'm going to show you guys how to work that nice and slow. So I'm going to bring that yarn to the front side of my work and turn my work upside down. So now that I can see the left leg and the right leg of my stitch, of course, pick up that left leg only and place it onto your hook like so. And now again, go ahead and find the next stitch space in your row, which is right here, and insert from the back to the front. So there's our backwards herringbone stitch. Wrap your yarn around the hook and pull up a loop and wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. So now we have some room. And again, yarn over and pull through all 3. So this is what the wrong side of our work is looking like, and you guys will see the pattern once I finish this row and turn it around. But for the rest of this row, I'm going to continue with this backwards herringbone stitch. So again, I'm going to turn my work, find this left leg of the single crochet, and place it onto your hook. And again, go ahead and find the next stitch space in your row. Place that onto your hook from back to front and pull up a loop. Go ahead and wiggle your yarn a little bit, yarn over, and pull up a loop. I really highly suggest giving yourself that wiggle space because I first worked this pattern without the wiggle and it was very difficult to be picking up all the stitches when it was worked so tightly. Once you guys start working up a few more stitches, it becomes a lot easier to find that left leg without having to turn your work over every single time. So I just get into a nice rhythm here. All right, so I'm here at the end of row 2 and I'm just finishing up my very last stitch in the row. So this is row 2 all completed. And again, now that I'm going to go ahead and start working on row 3, always chain 1 and turn your work. So this is what that fishtail herringbone stitch looks like after you've worked up 2 rows. Really cute chevron stitch, and again, just by dragging that left leg of the stitch over, we can kind of tilt our work and get this crooked single crochet. So again, now here for row 3, I'm actually going to be repeating the same exact steps from row 1. So because this is the right side of our work, we're going to be working into the front of the stitch. But when we work on the even numbered rows, you do need to work through the back side of your work. So I'm really quickly here just going to show you the start of row 3 again, but here at the very first stitch, I'm just going to start off with a regular single crochet, nothing fancy. So here is our very first stitch in the row, and now for the next 24 stitches, of course, go ahead and work through that left leg herringbone stitch. So I've picked up the left leg, and now pick up the top 2 loops in your next stitch, pull up, and pull through all 3. And again, find that left leg, insert your hook, find the next stitch, and pick up the stitch. And with 3 on, yarn over and pull through all 3. And it's literally as simple as that. No other tricks to that. I've literally shown you guys the entire pattern at this point. So now I'm just going to continue to work here on row 3. I'm going to show you guys how much more work I have, but because I've already worked this pattern, I know that I need a total of 20 rows of the herringbone stitch in order to fit my 11.5 inches long and wide. So just keep that number in mind, guys. Again, this is from my pillow of a 12 inch by 12 inch. So if you guys also have a 12 inch, make sure that you're following my pattern of 20 rows long of the herringbone stitch. And if you guys have a smaller or even larger pillow, just make sure that you're holding up your pillowcase and sizing up your rows just right. But for my pattern, I'm choosing to go with about a 1/2 inch shorter than my actual pillow. All right, so I've just worked a few more stitches here for row 4, but I just want to show you guys the right side of this herringbone stitch. So she's looking super, super cute. And like I mentioned before, my 25 stitches long gets me to about 11.5 inches long. And likewise, I need to work this panel until it is 11.5 inches long as well. So when you get out your little measuring tape here, so far 4 of these herringbone rows does get me to about 3 inches long. So again, I need to continue to add rows until I can hit my 11.5 inch mark, which is right here. So again, I worked up a total of 20 rows of this really cute herringbone stitch. And once you're done working on this first panel, go ahead and make a second panel in the exact same fashion. So go ahead, chain 25 plus 1 at the start of your row and just work those front and backwards herringbone stitches. And at the end of this, you guys should have 2 matching front and back panels. So I'm gonna go ahead, finish this up and meet you guys back for the sewing portion. All right, guys, I have officially finished up making my very first panel, and this is what the herringbone stitch is looking like. So I really love this pattern, and I feel like it kind of resembles like a fishtail braid. So I feel like I'm gonna rename this the fishtail stitch, but here she is. And as you guys can see, the entire first panel is done. And like I mentioned earlier, the width of this pillowcase cover is 11.5 inches wide, as well as 11.5 inches tall. So in total, I worked up 20 rows of the herringbone stitch. And again, this is what she's looking like. So after you finish doing the 20 rows with your first pillowcase cover, I went ahead and whipped up the second panel. So here is this one, and again, here is my first panel. So at this point, I need to physically stitch together pretty much 3 sides of the panel. But keep in mind, because I am going to be hand sewing on this 7-inch zipper, I do need to leave a little bit of a gap open on one of the edges. So my goal with this pillowcase cover is I'm going to place both of the panels right sides together. So I'm gonna have the wrong sides facing outwards, and I plan on sewing together 1 side, 2 sides, and 3 sides. But also here on this top edge, I want to sew together about 2 inches worth on the left side and on the right side of my panel. So when I'm all done and finished, I should have about a 7-inch gap right here on the 4th side of my panel left open. And then of course I'm going to go in and hand stitch this bad boy on. So at this point, I'm just going to go ahead, grab my yarn and tie on a new knot again, about 2 inches away from the edge of my work. So I'm just going to go ahead, grab my yarn and just start slip stitching the 2 panels together. All right, so I just finished stitching together my 2 panels. So again, the wrong side of your work should be facing outward like this. And like I mentioned, I did leave a little bit of a gap here on the last edge of roughly, you know, about 7 inches. So this is what it's looking like, kind of like a hamburger or like a taco mouth, I don't know. But as you guys can see, I did stitch together about 2-inch worth on both sides. So now I can go ahead and turn this thing inside out. And the very last step of this entire pillow DIY is to sew on the zipper by hand. And I've been putting this off for several hours today because I don't like hand sewing, but I'm gonna do it for you guys. So I'm just gonna go ahead and turn the pillowcase inside out. All right, this actually looks so good and I'm really, really happy with this like fishtail stitch. That looks so unique and I've never really seen this on a pillow before, at least nothing like handmade. So, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and sew the zipper on before I put the pillowcase in there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take my zipper and we're gonna, you know, unzip it. And now I'm just going to be placing this part of the zipper on the inside of the pillow, and of course leave your little zipper part exposed. It's really only like 1/4 inch worth, but you just want to make sure that you can actually access the zipper. So I'm just going to be placing my zipper inside. All right, I hope that you guys are able to understand what I'm talking about once I start sewing together the zipper. And I plan on sewing like the white part of the zipper onto the very, very edge of the pillowcase right there. And I'm just gonna work up one side, cut my yarn, and then reattach over here. And again, hand sew the other side of the zipper on and shove the pillowcase in. So I have my handy dandy needle and thread, and you know, old school style, we're just gonna all right guys, and here is the moment of truth. So I just finished sewing on my zipper to the opening, and now let's go ahead and test it out. Y'all, can you believe that we just did that? So now that we actually have a zipper on our pillowcase cover, that means in case this ever gets dirty or something happens and you need to wash this, you can just take off the zipper, pull the cover off, and throw this into the washer and the dryer, and that way you don't have to go washing like your actual pillow. So at this point, I'm just gonna go ahead, stuff this bad boy into here, and I'll go ahead and show you guys the final pillow result. And again, thank you so much to Ana Luisa for sponsoring today's video. If you guys would like to shop all of my jewelry pieces, make sure that you click the link in my description and get your extra 20% off. I love you guys so much. I'll be seeing you all very, very soon. And by the way, this pillow is actually super comfy. All right, love you guys. Bye.